Did you count to 5, you moron?
What?
It's way more funny that way.
Did you count to 5, you moron?
What the hell is happening?
Air sucks.
Hey, all of you shut up. Oh, I forgot to do the thing. There we go. All right. Internet. We're here. It's Wednesday.
It's Thursday.
Oh, Thursday. All right. It's 8:10 though. So that's pretty good. Last time it was
30.
30. So that's a 20-minute improvement. That's you got to give me credit for that. Welcome. I'm very pleased to have everyone here. We're here joined as usual by Repal and Rickstah. How you guys doing?
Good.
Tight. And we're also joined by Jimmy J. Tran, who has graced us with his presence. And according to Rickstah, he looks like he's in some kind of adult cam type of a thing. What is up with that background?
It's just my curtains. What's wrong with it?
Who has curtains on their walls?
That's how they separate each
On my-
person from one another.
That's my window.
Oh. Huh.
To the next bed.
What? To the next bed. Anyway, I'm glad everyone's here to join us. We got a few things we want to talk about. Oh yeah, before we move on, I have something that I want to clear the air about. Joey Quaylar, Mr. Wizard, came to the arcade yesterday, and he brought to my attention that he was not pleased with something that I said in the last episode of this, whatever the hell it is. And what it was about was that I mentioned that I thought it was a huge knee-jerk reaction for them to ban the Marvel bug that came out. And I was like, it was a stupid idea for them to ban it so early. So he came up to me yesterday, way bent out of shape. And he was like, what the fuck? How do you know we don't do all the testing and stuff? Blah, blah, blah. And I got chewed out. And he explained to me exactly why they banned it so early. And the reasoning was that within 8 hours of testing, they found just absolutely catastrophic game-breaking problems with the bug. And they just immediately knew that this has to be banned. So there is a moral here. And one thing I wanted to mention is, first of all, anyone who has any inclination that I have some issue against Evo, they're dead wrong. I am a huge supporter of Evo. Every one of us on this show is going to be there for sure. Am I correct?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I mean, it's an unmissable tournament. And the lesson to be learned here is that, I went with what I saw on the internet. I went with what the buzz on the street was. Oh, Evo banned it already, and everyone was talking shit and stuff. And I fell for the buzz. The lesson is, if you got a problem with something like that, you go straight to the source and you find out exactly what the story is. Because look what ends up happening. Joey Quaylar walks up to me in front of Super Arcade and gives me a chewing out, and I feel terrible. So, Joey, I'm sorry to you and Evo. I'm a huge fan, and we need to solve this issue, and I won't doubt you again before I call you, and then you tell me you made a mistake. Otherwise, keeping that straight. Now that we got that out of the way, there's a couple topics I guess we could talk about. I just found out that Jimmy J doesn't play Injustice at all. I mean, I'm not happy with that. I'm not pleased. You were a
shouldn't be
great Shang
surprised.
Tsung.
No.
What's the explanation? Why aren't you playing it?
It's because I'm too busy playing Tag 2.
Okay, do you feel like Tag 2 keeps you busier than other games? Because I recall in the past you've played multiple games at the same time.
Does it keep me busy? It definitely does. But I mean, the other games that I played before, I really just played them on the side. So it didn't really matter too much that I cut them out.
So you played those games on the side and were hella good at them. And now this is your main game. So you're saying you are unbeatable in Tekken Tag 2, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Damn.
All right. So are you really practicing? Like, are you practicing for Evo?
Not so hard right now, but definitely in the coming month, in June, probably.
Okay. I like to hear that. And may I ask who your primary competition is?
It's definitely just Bronson.
That's it?
I'm pretty much just playing Bronson. I play nobody else nearly as much.
Is the reasoning, is that like an intentional thing or it just doesn't work out?
It's just that we live kind of close and other people are too busy, I guess. I don't know.
So does that
Not
mean...
that many people are playing right now. But that's changing because we're starting to do those first to 15.
Right, and
We've heard about.
that's one thing I wanted to bring up. So first of all, first to 15s for dinner, or what kind of stipulation are we talking?
The first one was for dinner at Alexander Steakhouse. It's a really expensive steakhouse.
Okay.
I don't know about the rest of them. The rest of them are just grudge matches. We haven't really set up a lot with specific things like details about the matches, except who's going to play in those matches.
Do you already know who's gonna play next?
Next, I don't know, but we have 3 lined up.
Oh well,
There's K30 versus someone, right? JD, I think.
Yeah.
who? Who's
Ryan,
JD?
K30 Father versus
Jade.
JD.
Oh, Jade.
Cindy 182.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that sounds legit. Well, the one thing I wanted to mention is your commentary. Usually you're so shy. Man, that was legit. I learned so many move names from you. Why didn't you ever tell me these move names?
I don't know. I thought you knew.
I didn't know all Eraser? I didn't know that Steve's running 2 was
yeah,
called
yeah.
Eraser. That's so
What?
sick.
That's a good name.
That's a great name. You're erasing the fuck out of you. Boom, running 2. That's just too sick. Anyway, how do you feel about doing commentary? Is that something you like doing?
I kind of do enjoy it. It's just that I find it really hard when I'm commentating with someone else because I find it kind of hard to like not talk over them, and also when I'm not talking over them, they're talking about something, and something pops up in a match that I really want to bring up because I think it's really intricate and people might not have caught it. But by the time I wait for the other person to finish talking, the moment's kind of passed.
You can't wait for
gotta
that
cut 'em
shit.
off.
You gotta cut them right off. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the way you do it.
It's really hard to do that the right way, you know?
You just jump in there. You gotta be alpha male about it. That's the only way to do it, especially if it's some hilarious joke you thought of. You just cut that guy right off. Boom. Drop the joke on him. But I thought your commentary was actually really good. I mean, I've said for a long time that you seem a lot more shy and like stale than you actually are. Everyone says you're like the NorCal Kane, or like, you know, just like no social skills like Kane, but that's absolutely not true. You know? Absolutely not true whatsoever. I mean, we have a very vibrant and potent conversations when we're around each other. So, yeah, you really need to get on the mic more. Perhaps with Bronson, maybe you guys
No,
will.
that is the plan. The plan is for the rest of the matches, me and Bronson we're gonna try out commentating together for the next one at the very least.
The moment I started watching it, I thought to myself, this needs to have Bronson on it. For sure. Because both of you guys get along really well with each other. You guys have this, like, rapport with each other. And I think you wouldn't have much of a problem with cutting that guy off because he's such a piece of shit. So, you know, it would be really easy to cut him off. No problem.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely keep up the good work on the commentary. Now, as far as not playing Injustice, which I'm really hung up on, do you have any like urge to play it, or is it something that you don't even give a shit about? You love Tekken that much?
It's not because I love Tekken. It's just that I can't really seem to get into the game. Like the mechanics are kind of weird, and I don't really like any of the characters either. So
You should try Deathstroke. He's awesome.
I hear you tell that to like everyone.
I tell strangers. I'm outside the arcade. You know, there's a college across the street, right?
Yeah.
I stand outside the arcade smoking cigarettes, and people will be walking by. They've never played a game before. Hey, you should try Deathstroke. And we go, hey, all right, see you later. They just ignore me. I mean, I don't know what the deal is. But I love him. I love the character. I'm enjoying the game. I can't say I love the game, but I'm enjoying it. And, I mean, you played Shang Tsung. I could have sworn you were going to be like, yeah, I'm the best Killer Frost there is in NorCal. I'm shocked. Unbelievable. But tell me how you feel about Tekken Tag 2.
How I feel about Tekken Tag 2.
Overall, it's the game has ripened. I think all 4 of us have like our kind of opinions on the game, and I'm curious how you like it because you're a huge fan as far as I know.
I am a huge fan of this game, that's for sure. There's just so much to it that I didn't initially see.
Okay, I'm listening. Like what?
Like, for example, when people use Tag Crash, and at first everyone was like, you know, you just sidewalk to sidewalk a Tag Crash, and it's just like black and white, but it really isn't that black and white.
Care to elaborate?
Well,
It seems black and white to me. They're either going to tag crash or they're not.
so when you Tag Crash, the life bars change in one frame. So basically what that means is that you press it, and you're guaranteed to dive in, basically. So if you can survive a grounded hit, that basically means you can see on reaction that they're going to hit you grounded, and then use it. On top of that, delaying your tag crash makes it that much harder to actually sidewalk to avoid.
Of course, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So it's definitely not as black and white as I originally thought it was. There's definitely a lot more to it.
I wouldn't call that a lot more. I would call that a little more. I mean, it still is pretty black and white. All you did was say when they're going to tag crash. But it's still whether or not they're going to tag crash and whether or not you can bait that out. In
Well, it
fact,
makes it that much harder if they can survive a grounded hit.
that's the key word right there, playa. Harder. That's the
Way harder. It's impossible, basically.
That's not a good thing, man. That's a bad thing.
No, tag crash. You should consider tag crash a win. This is another thing I think has changed
Okay.
over the past few months.
I'm listening.
When you tag crash, usually in the situation where you tag crash, you're basically admitting the character's dead. The character is out of the game, except for like TA assist, of course.
Okay.
But I mean, tag crashing, forcing the opponent to tag crash, that should be considered a win. Even if you don't avoid the tag crash to punish the inbound character, it should be considered a win because that's one character out of the equation.
Okay, so semi-win. The biggest win would be making it whiff and punishing it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like best case scenario, but
Still a
don't be so
win.
discouraged
Just
when
getting
I
them to
say-
burn the tag crash is still a win. I mean, I think that's pretty much what everyone's, that's been everyone's kind of idea since the beginning, right? I mean, who thinks otherwise?
But they were thinking more along the lines of keeping your Netsu. It's more just keeping the character alive and
Yeah.
in the game. You
I
really
can see
want your
that.
third character.
Interesting. And I don't know, man. I mean, the big issue I have with the game, and you said you really love it. You said it's great, right?
Yeah. it really
You
is.
think it's better than T6?
I'm gonna have to say so.
Wow, I'm
Thank you.
shocked. And Rickstah, you obviously agree, right?
Obviously,
Yeah.
he does.
I
agree.
was just saying a minute ago, the only reason Rickstah likes Tekken Tag 2 over T6 is because his balls
'Cause I
dropped in this
fucking
game.
saw.
Yeah, he just finally grew some Tekken pubes, and it happened to be when he was playing
don't-
Tag 2. All
I'll be
these
interested
years,
in
you've
T6
been,
too, but-
crackling voice and, all that shit. And now,
How did
you
that
know,
happen exactly? Ricky?
I don't know.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you tell me, Ricky. How did you
He
take
went
so
back.
fucking
No,
long
no,
to
no,
get good?
No. Listen, I have the greatest theory, right? Because right now everyone's not playing, and so because everyone's not playing, and I'm not playing, it just shows who's the better fighting game player.
Oh,
And I'm
yes.
obviously the best. So
I-
obviously, if
best.
I
Never
played
lost
as much,
tournament.
if I played as much as all these other motherfuckers that just play the game all day, then I'd be the best. But I just don't, you know.
Yeah, it sounds like a reasonable assessment.
It's
Whenever Ricky
100%
says he has
true.
the best, whenever Ricky says he has the best theory, it's never the best theory.
Yeah.
It's always 100% wrong.
It's the best theory.
You could say whenever Ricky says blank, it's never blank. I mean, it doesn't even matter what he says. It's always bullshit.
Let me tell you the honest truth. I have no idea.
I know what it is.
What is
You
it?
went back to Ganryu, dude. That's what it is.
I've been playing
I've been
Ganryu
telling him that.
for
No, you haven't, dude. You went through
No,
the whole
until-
Tekken 6 with Bob.
well, because Ganryu suck in Tekken 6.
Whatever. You suck with any other character until you learn to play Bob finally.
He sucks with every
Okay.
character. Hey, did you
And
get
now he's
new
got
headphones,
Ganryu.
Ricky? Those are cool. Are those what kind of headphones are those? They got a blue
same
light on.
headphones.
They're pretty sick.
Oh, that's my surround sound. I can turn that off.
Oh, now we're not surround.
Tough guy. So you don't even have an explanation for why you're good now. I mean, not good, but not shitty. That's true. You're not shitty.
Honestly, I understand the tag mechanics. I think better than most in SoulCal.
Ooh.
That's something I've always felt because my first Tekken ever was Tag 1, so I've always known the tag mechanics. It's just like when I watch people play in tournament, like I see so many people get away with raw tags that are so obvious. Like James in Incog yesterday, I was just watching. I was like, James just let Incog tag in all day, and I'm like, there's so many opportunities he had just to get some damage, and he just let him tag because it was too obvious. But James wasn't thinking about that. He was thinking about his next setup or whatever, So
That was
I
a
think I
crazy
can take-
grand finals, right?
it was.
Top 3 was
But
great.
Yeah.
Kyle lost some dumb matches.
Yeah, he was he was just playing so weird yesterday. I
It
mean,
was late.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
he really wanted it just to play, get out of there.
it did run later than usual. Do you watch, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Let's
I pretty much watch every week.
may I don't know if you're cool with this, but would you critique the players at Wednesday Night Fights for me?
Well, there's only like 3 or 4 main players that we
Okay.
only see.
Okay, I'm listening.
Because
Go on.
top 3 is shown, and there's Kyle, there's James, there's Incog, and I guess Ricky.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to save Ricky for last, but how do you feel about the general competition? How do you feel about the general competition? I mean, like, do you think? Because I really think the game is really ugly to watch at a certain level because of all the mistakes that you see, and I
Yeah.
really hate seeing mistakes in this game. I feel like because I remember you're always the guy that's like, oh, you didn't get that last 3 points of damage out of that combo, and before I was like, man, like Jimmy is a damn Nazi about these combos, but now it feels like everyone's just fucking everything up. So
Yeah,
I
it's 'cause
mean,
they're fucking it up really badly. That's why.
what do you think the explanation is? I mean, huge fuck ups.
Yeah.
That's
what I
it.
mean.
That's not an explanation. Why does that happen in Tag 2 and not in T6?
I think that's really simple. Why it happens in Tag 2 and not T6 is because people are way too busy thinking about 4 characters rather than 2.
That's what I fucking say. I agree. It's too complicated. I mean, it's at least for me. I don't know if I've ever told you this, Jimmy, but I stopped playing Fang because the character is too complicated. Not by himself, but combined with Dragunov, there are so many strategies I have that I just fucking gave up on it, and I picked a simpler character. It's too much for me to remember, you know what I mean? That's how I feel about the game.
Jimmy's face when he said that was priceless. I'm gonna go back and watch that.
Were
later.
you, is that shocking to you, Jimmy?
A little bit. In this point of the game where it's been like, how long has it been? Since September, now it's about June. 9 months?
Something like that.
So, I mean, now it's to the point where if you were to stick with Fang, then by now you would have everything down.
But you're missing what I mean. It's not that I can't do everything, it's that I can't remember everything at the same time. Because Fang is the type of character where you have to use all his moves. He doesn't have like 3 moves that you could just sit on all day. You have to use a lot of pokes and just everything. And for that character, it just felt like I was occupying too much of my hard drive space. There was too many strategies. And then so when I started to pick simpler characters, it just felt more like, oh, yeah, I know what to do. Easy to do. No problem. Apply it. It was more about application than remembering. Maybe it's just because that's how I am with tournaments, but remember when I used to talk to you about combos and combo damage and stuff, and I like to make my combos homogeneous? It's because I don't want to think about it. But while I'm playing Fang in that game, in tournament, I'm thinking like, oh yeah, what's good with this guy? Oh yeah, I like to turn around and do this shit. Oh yeah, that's no good right now. I'm thinking too much. And that's the problem I had with the game. I don't know if that's a sentiment that any of you guys share, but what do you guys think about that?
I can see it, but I never had that problem just because my character. I've always played simple characters in my opinion, so I never had a problem with that.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of just experience with the character, and I think you probably just needed more experience with Fang, and then it would have just clicked and been natural with them.
I've had way more experience as far as playing a character with Fang than Wang, that's for sure. Way more. Way more. I mean, I entered, towards the end of T6, I exclusively entered every tournament with Fang. I mean, he's essentially the same with a couple of tweaks. I have clutch experience with him. I can say years of tournament experience with Fang. But I perform much better with Wang because I feel like the strategies are simpler. I mean, there isn't that much to remember. It's all about solid movement, whiff punishing, a couple of jabs in their face, and waning moon. And my success in the clutch has been better with that team just because I feel like it's simpler. I mean, you guys didn't. I mean, Rip, you don't really count because you play double laws or law and someone with a hop kick. And then Rickstah, he's playing Ganryu, and I don't know how complex those characters are in terms of number of strategies that you have to remember. But this is an issue that I thought of. Like, this is a huge issue for me in the game, and I don't know. It was a problem at first. I struggled with it. I mean, this isn't an issue for you at all, Jimmy?
Initially it was, but initially that's the issue for everyone. So I mean, as long as you stick to it, it should get easier. It's like learning a language.
Perhaps it's because I felt as though I shouldn't have to stick with this for it to get better. I already know how to use both characters. Why is combining them creating a problem? You know what I mean? I mean that's the big issue I had. But I mean, you're so you're so scientific about the game that I can't even expect you to understand some of the things that I say. I can tell some things that I say to you, the concept of me using a certain Punisher every time, like wall standing 1+2 with Dragunov every time. That concept, I know. Look at you. You look like you're just rolling in your grave right now. Super pissed about that. I mean, these concepts I present to you, I know you don't like them, but I mean, they really are the case with me. You're just so scientific. I feel like you don't have a very objective opinion.
You know I don't like it, but you have to understand that I also understand it.
Well, that's very Zen-like of you. In order to not like it, I must understand it.
That's not what I said.
I know, but
Jimmy's the best.
yeah, he's so pissed right now.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, good times.
I
Anyway,
think that Wang is easier in a tournament setting to use than Feng is, if that's what you're trying to get to.
He's easier to optimize, basically.
easier to optimize. I mean, yeah, I totally agree. That's basically my point. I
Right.
picked an easier character because I felt like and not in terms of execution, but in terms of remembering strategies. I mean, that's
Right.
literally the issue I had. And once I switched, it just became much easier. I could focus on my opponent, and I can. When I play Tekken now, I mean, I don't really. I practice a little bit, but when I enter a tournament match, I feel like all I gotta do is do what I know how to do. It doesn't feel like I have to remember this huge Rolodex of information, like, all these little things. I just feel like just all you got to do is play solid and do what you need to do, and you won't have that big of an issue. But I feel like that comfort level when I walk into a tournament match is really because of the team. Some teams, I feel like I at least would not be able to do that. I mean, no matter how much I played them, it's just that, maybe that's me as a player, because this does tie into the while standing 12 frame punish argument that we have, Jimmy.
Yeah.
And I think that's related. I think that's related because I don't like to store these multiple things in my brain. I want to just exclude those and just have reads and like decisions in my brain.
I think that's pretty clear, and anyone should understand that.
But I mean, this.
But I mean, Eris, what if
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what if Fang was your main character, coming into Tag 2? I mean, would you still? I mean, I feel like you still would have done better if you swapped it out to Wang anyway.
Well, here's the
You know what I
here's the thing. I feel like I have a large number of strategies with Dragunov, and what was happening when I was picking Fang was not only was my Fang suffering because of the complexity of the character, but I felt that my Dragunov was also suffering because I was focusing so much on the Fang side of it. So they were hurting each other. I felt like, even though the team is much better together than Wang and Dragunov, I personally just was struggling because just everything was suffering. It just became an issue. And once I switched, I really feel like the problem was solved to some extent at least. But I don't know. It just really seems like of the four of us, I'm flying solo on this one in terms of.
Well, I think this is just a person issue. You're the only one that seems to have a problem with something like that.
That's interesting because you know what? When I watch tournament matches, it looks like every fucking person I watch has that problem because they can't get anything right. Full of mistakes, dropping combos with both characters. I mean, how do you explain all that shit? I mean, those are the problems I had when I played Feng and Dragunov. Like, I'd do a combo, but I'd do the wrong one, or I'd end it wrong, or the Okazemi would not work out perfectly because I didn't remember that you have to do this one little thing on Okazemi to get it to work. The details of the characters, they fall through the cracks for me when the characters are complex. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's personal or not, but when I watch people play, and that includes every single one of you and you too, Jimmy J. Tran, there are mistakes, tons of them. Mistake City, Everyone who plays Tekken Tag moves there, and I don't know what the deal is.
You already said it early on, though. It's just because everyone, people are too busy trying to, focus on the fact that there's 4 characters in the game, and so. I mean, I figure you're not the only problem. You're the only person that has this problem. I mean, there's a reason why people are playing clone teams. Look at Core, look at GM. Those guys are, they haven't had much success without playing clones. Actually, I take that back. GM's kind of won something with Paul, maybe.
GM. Oh well, yeah, I guess that's true. But
Core, on the other hand, yeah, he needs Slim Bob.
hey, what do you, Jimmy? What do you think about clone teams in general?
Well, I mean, it definitely solves the problem of thinking about too many characters. I mean, that's obvious.
Do you think
But I mean, I
it's
have nothing against them. It's just that sometimes, obviously, it's not coincidental that the best teammates together or whatnot. It's just easier to optimize just because they're the same character, basically.
Do you think that? Because what I think is that in this country, nobody's good enough to make that not a good idea. A clone team, not a good idea. I think the benefits from having just the same character come in again but healthy is like way more than the cons of having 4 move lists to remember and all that shit I was just complaining about. At least on the level of most of this country, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's a great idea if you can do it. What are your thoughts?
It's not a bad idea in the short run, but long run, I'm thinking if it's not an optimized team and you could play someone else better if you just worked on it, then it's just an idea of short term versus long term.
Well, what do you mean by short versus long? Do you mean in terms of the game's
In,
lifespan,
in
or do
terms
you
of
mean?
producing, no, in terms of producing results.
Well, I mean, think about what I said. In this country, I mean, do you think that Tekken Tag 2 has the legs to make that long run strategy worth it for some people?
That's really hard to say right now, just because we aren't really drawing in new players. But I mean, I'm just gonna keep playing this game.
Yeah, I mean, so are all of us. I mean, that's for sure. I remember Rip the other day. He was saying like Tekken is absolutely not dead. It's just that we're not getting new players. But
Yeah.
there is still the core group of Tekken players, which is actually quite large considering it's not one of the premier games out there. For like a secondary game, there are a lot of skilled players and a lot of people who still give a shit about the game. So I mean, in that context, yeah, there's people out there, and everyone. I mean, I fucking really like the game. I really think it's cool, and I have a shitload of fun playing it. I just think it's a shitty tournament game. That's the problem. I just don't. At least in this country, maybe it's a great tournament game in Korea where you're hella fucking good and you can suppress the bullshit in the game. But nobody's good enough to suppress the bullshit in this country. So I think it's a shitty tournament game. I have more fun playing it in sets, and I have more fun watching sets. What are your thoughts on that? All of you. I'm curious what you all think about that. What do you guys think,
It,
Rip?
it's still relatively early
Okay.
at the same time.
Okay. Repack?
Yeah, I
What do you
mean,
think?
tournament wise, there's just been personally in tournament for me, I've had a lot of random issues happening lately. Not so much before. Like bottom of Snow Castle, there was something crazy happening to me the other day. I was in the corner downstairs and someone raw tagged on me and they got my back. And I was like, how the hell did that even happen? Like, I've never seen it in any part of the game other than that one corner of the stage. And so there's just like little things like that that have been driving me a little bit crazy. And I know, for Cynic and Crew, they've been saying like
Yeah.
crazy things happen in this game, just like because of the way either the sidestep system or whatever it is with the tag mechanic. Off-axis combos get really crazy. So little things like that are starting to bother me more now than they were when the game first came out. So I wouldn't say it's not a good tournament game. I feel like tournament results are pretty consistent. So in that sense, it's a good game. But I really hate when I get screwed out of something because the damage potential for someone in this game is so high.
Yeah, that has been an issue for most people. What do you think, Ricky?
Well, what I want to know is like, what do you mean like how we can't suppress the bullshit? Like, do you think like
Okay.
Koreans are suppressing the bullshit?
Well, what I think is that there's a certain so in the ladder of skill in Tekken Tag 2, in Tekken 6 there were certain people who complained and they said the crush system is whack and the game is random and it's a hop kick game, right? But obviously in that game, if you were good enough, you could play the game in a way where it's not random anymore. You can suppress the quote-unquote randomness of people just using the crush system with skill and predicting and anticipation and stuff. Now, I feel like, let's say that level was right here, Tekken 6. You got to be Nin or whatever, good player. I feel like in Tekken Tag 2, that level isn't good enough because I feel like there were American players who were clutching at 2 in Tekken 6. But now that Tag 2 came out, the American players are left at the Tekken 6 level of control, and Tekken Tag 2 is just a fucking party game. So it's really hard for someone, let's just use GM, right? So GM is good enough to beat Koreans in Tekken 6, right? I mean, he's got the game under control where nothing's going to happen where he's like, what the fuck was that? But I feel like nobody in this country has the ability to say that they can make it so that the what the fuck was that thing never happens. Nobody could do that, while they could in T6. And I think people in Korea and Japan, they can easily do that, which is why I think the huge, the differential is larger in this game than it was in T6. What do you think, Ricky?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess I haven't watched enough like Korean or Japanese videos, but I never felt like they were doing anything to suppress it more so than us. You know, I mean, their players are gonna lose just like anyone else, and I don't think like they're much they have some like they've been playing the game for so long or something that they know how to suppress it yet. But I think that's just how the game is.
Do you think that it's how the game is where random shit happens and you just gotta accept it? Because random shit does not happen when I watch Korean and Japanese match videos. Or it happens way less. You know? Dude, go
Yes,
back
it can
and watch
happen
these
less.
matches, man. You know that tournament? I think it was ECT. So, GM played against Trungi, right? Did you watch that, Jimmy?
No, I didn't see it at all.
Okay,
I didn't
so-
see any of that tournament.
GM played against Trungi, right? And I gotta tell you, I've seen Trungi play before, and I've played him before, and he's never played better in his entire life. GM and Trungi both played just clean, pretty Tekken. Like, no mistakes. Punishes were going like the way they should have. Everyone was doing full combos, and I just couldn't be happier. Then, right after that, GM goes and plays Fab. I mean, GM is the same fucking guy. And he was making every mistake on the planet. I mean, against Fab, GM versus Fab at ECT, I mean, I just might as well have been watching some weird scat porn or something. It was gross. It was just absolutely repulsive, and I couldn't stand watching it. And this is the problem I have with Tekken Tag 2. How did this happen? GM is the same man. A minute ago, he was knocking out all his fucking punishes and everything, combos perfect. Dude, the character's fucking hard, and in the clutch, he's doing all that back two shit, and then 2 seconds later, he's playing against Fab, and obviously, it's his opponent that's causing this, but Fab didn't do anything either. He was fucking up too. It's like both of these guys crumbled under each other's pressure, and that type of thing never happened in T6. I mean, that is a problem I have with this game.
I take exception to that one though, because you're saying that it never happened in T6, but I think you're only comparing that to the later years of T6 when we've had the game for so long. We got used to how to control and how to play the game. This game is still new, even though it's only we've had the game for what 9 months. It's not new, but it's still because the game is so complex and deep that it's going to take obviously a lot longer for us to reach that level. Korea and Japan has the game for 2 years. So I figure it's going to take time before we can even get to that level.
Interesting. You saying that just made me think about the possibility of this literally just being that we just got the game and America just sucks like we did in T6. Do you think that's the case? I'm talking to you,
I'll let Jimmy
Rick.
take that one.
Who,
I don't know.
You guys,
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
because the funny thing about this game is it's a new game, yeah, but it's still Tekken 6 in terms of core system mechanics. So perhaps players like myself are kind of, blinded by the same system mechanics, and we're forgetting that it is a new game, and we have to expect to have to learn it like a new game. Do you think that's the case, Jimmy?
I definitely think that's the case because there are definitely really key elements to Tag 2 compared to Tekken 6. Like, for example, health management.
Yeah.
People aren't really thinking about health management properly yet because they're too busy thinking about the Tekken 6 core system itself.
Yeah, I think that might be my big problem. And maybe I never even thought about this, but until right now. But maybe that is just something that will get better over time. I never even thought about that. Because it feels so much like Tekken 6 that I feel like you should be able to just walk in and just play it like that. But it's absolutely not the case. And
Yeah, it's definitely not the case.
huh, interesting. I wonder if that's a problem that many people have with the game. Cause
Well, I mean, the first time I saw Core play the game was at
oh, he's a
that
good
Tekken
example.
Arena, and I remember Core, like, he did not know how to tag. Like, it was so blatantly obvious that he just, like, this is the first tag game he's ever played. He was tag crashing everything, losing all his red health, tagging at the wrong times, and it was really obvious. I mean, he lost to, I think, True Master Ogre, who obviously I think played the original tag, and he knew when to tag, he knew how to punish, and so
Yeah.
I think that playing from tag 1 to then helped that guy out versus Core, who played what 5.
And
So he
then
didn't understand the tag mechanics yet, and I still don't think a lot of the players now even understand it to the its full potential yet.
I agree. And think back at the first major for Tag 2, Slips won it too. I mean, obviously Slips is a Tekken Tag 1
Yeah,
legend,
exactly.
and Slips won it with just life bar management. Interesting. Huh. Well, I mean, I don't know. In the end, we've gotten criticized on this show for quote unquote bad mouthing Tekken and saying, assisting in its death. And I think that's absolutely preposterous. I mean, all of us here do stuff for the scene. We have sites or do commentary or something for the scene. And for someone to say that we are like selling out and fucking not liking Tekken is absolutely bogus. And just talking about our gripes with the game, I think helps people just see what the issue is. I mean, I used to talk hellish. I've talked shit about every game I've liked. You have to, because it's like, just because you like it doesn't mean it can't be improved on. And in that context, what I want to know is, what would you guys do to fix the game? Do you think the game needs fixing? What needs to happen? Jimmy, you go first, because I'm sure you have a interesting idea.
Thanks for putting me on blast like that.
Okay, I'll let you go
I
second if
think
you want.
The game is fine as of right now.
Well, I mean, think about it in terms of it's not getting new players, it's not growing, and, let's cater to everybody, not just Jimmy J. Tran.
Well, to get new players, they pretty much just have to. They can make it easier, but that's not going to solve everything. Just because I think a huge reason why other games are more popular is because they've had like a stronger root in American fighting game history. Like, for example, everyone remembers playing Street Fighter 2 when they were younger, so they could remember about it. But Tekken did not have that history in Tekken.
That's not true.
in
Everyone
America.
played Tekken 2 and was like, damn, look at those multi-throws. Everyone.
Nah,
I
not
wouldn't say that
everyone.
much. Not the way people talk about Street Fighter 2.
Well, yeah, okay, retards, but yeah. But I mean, like fighting game players, a lot of people go up to me and they're like, oh, I used to play Tekken, but man, it got hard. Or I skipped one, and then by the time I came back, it was like, damn, 40 new characters? That's really the big story. I'm talking about among Tekken fans. When I go to a tournament and I just make conversation outside with some guy having a cigarette, every single fucking guy goes, oh yeah, I used to play it a lot back in Tekken 3, Tekken Tag, but, it just got so hard.
I think they do casually though, especially Tekken 3. A lot of people play Tekken 3 casually.
Yeah, but it's one step at a time. I mean, you got to get someone to actually look at the game and say, who is this guy? King, he looks cool. I want to play him. Then you get into the phase of, now I'm playing King and I'm formulating strategies, so I want to beat this guy next to me. And then the next phase is, I want to beat this guy next to me when they're going to write it down afterwards, and I'll be able to say, I beat you that day. So this is the progression. First things first, you got to get the scrubs, you got to get the new guys. I mean, that's the issue. That's the problem. The game doesn't have the draw for the new guys. They're intimidated, and that's an issue for me, at least. What do you guys? I didn't get your opinions. What would you do, Rip, to solve the problem?
Well, let me tell you guys a story. So, basically, when I grew up playing, one of the guys I played with, his name is John, so I'm just going to call him John because that's easy for me. But we started playing Tekken together in Tekken 3. We both used Law. We both started playing other characters. He used Lei, etc. We played through Tekken Tag 1 together after that. We played through Tekken 4. And then barely Tekken 5, he was starting to, fall out of love with the game because there's too many characters for him at that point. Right? I mean, he wasn't playing it as much as he was before. And then, he still knew how to DSS. He could do combos, etc., etc. Tekken 6 comes out. We go over to my friend's house, and they just had, a console gathering. They had Tekken 6 there. So they were going random with Mokujin, and he's using Law. He knows how the DS doesn't know how to combo, and he's getting beat by these mashers with Mokujin because he does not know how to defend against these characters. You know what I mean? So it was this weird mind opening thing for me where I finally saw this is why people call Tekken a mashers game, because people who don't know what they're doing can break someone's defense down just by hitting buttons. Do you know what I mean? So from a tournament perspective, that sounds crazy, but to a new player or people like just learning the game, that was just shocking to me. I'm like, how is this guy who knows how to play Tekken, who's playing since Tekken 3 all the way up to like barely the beginning of Tekken 5, not able to beat someone who's just hitting buttons with Mokujin? That was just the most shocking thing that I've ever seen. So I think that it's just a matter of too much to deal with for a new player
In terms of moves?
in terms of move list, character count, etc.
That
So-
reminds me of a story, actually. When I was, like, I don't even know how old. This was before everything. Tekken 3 had just come out on PlayStation. I saw someone with, in the game's AI or something, I saw a Heihachi do the spring kick. You know, when you're on the ground, back 3+4, that thing. And I mean, for 6 months after that, scoured every Game Informer, game magazine on the planet, trying to find out how Heihachi can do this one move. And obviously, it's a system-wide move. Every character can do it, so it's not just Heihachi. And I never found it. And eventually, after years of playing the game, it was like Q-Dog or Shano that was like, yeah, you moron, everyone has that move. And I thought to myself, that's ridiculous. I mean, if I see Ryu throw a fireball, I could just find it, like, boom, that's how you throw a fireball. So how did this happen? And then I think about all the different ways you can get up. Toe kicks, all these different options. Just imagine not even useful ones. The ones that different animations for your character as they're getting up off the ground. It becomes like shocking. There are so many options. So perhaps this is like the way it was meant to be. In the direction they were going since Tekken 3, unless they cut things out, of course it's going to get this complex, and it's going to become a button masher. I mean, John's right. That's the way it is for a certain level of player. And Rickstah was on that level until like 2 weeks ago.
Man,
2 weeks
shut
ago.
up.
You should give us a,
At least give me a month. That was a month ago.
Okay, a month ago. It's been a month. But I mean,
Thank you.
like, tell me, what do you think about this topic?
The best way to save Tekken is strong style. That's what needs to happen.
What the fuck is up with that, Jimmy?
Don't ask me. I'm not. No comment.
No, you know,
I stay on the strong
it's-
style channel. Don't lie.
Oh yeah, there's a strong style side. I don't know. Like, this game is just it's hard to pick up. Honestly, the one thing though is that if you ever played like ranked online randomly, there are players on there that are actually decent at the game. And I've never heard of any of them. I would assume most of them are just like random guys that might have picked up Tekken 6 or Tag 2.
They're
And
all
just started
fake troll
playing.
accounts, dude. It's all just like the same 5 people. I mean,
It's Sukin.
in JMS.
It could. I mean, it could be, but I mean, no. There are online players that are still playing. I mean,
Yeah, that's
NorCal
true.
has that random hate mail guy, Kiss Army. That guy shows up to tournaments. And
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
That's
we
the
have a
Giants?
new guy too. I mean, we have a few new guys. That SoCal Requiem guy. I mean, I don't remember if he played T6 that much, but he's been at every tournament. And then Run It Black. I mean, he's new as it gets. Tekken Tag 2, fresh, brand new player.
It's kind of, but to me, it's a double-edged sword because when it's online, you have those players like Run It Black, Speed Kicks, even Kiss Army, I guess, because they only play online, but they'll show up to tournaments. They'll try to get better. But then you have your other guys that just play online, and we lost a few of those guys like Uwe. I never see that guy anymore, but I see him online all the time.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Uwe.
why doesn't he just show up to tournaments anymore?
Dude, there are a lot. There are a lot of guys like that just in SoCal. I mean,
Yeah. So it's I think because of that, it's online help bring in some players, but not to our scene. It just helped bring
Not to the
players to play Tekken, and
well,
we
what
need
I
to figure out a way to get those players out of the house. And
well,
that's hard.
let me ask you guys this: do you think that a fan, just a Tekken fan who actively plays, is of the same value to Namco as a fan who goes out and publicly goes to tournaments and actively tries to get better as opposed to like a Kiss Army guy who plays at home online? Who's more valuable to them? Who do they want to create more of, in your opinions?
I don't think they care.
So
To be
just
honest.
anyone who's playing Tekken, that's all they care about in any
I
way,
think it's
shape,
about
or
sales
form.
numbers.
Yeah, it's all about sales numbers. There's no uh, like benefit for them to try to make players to enter tournaments or whatever, because what does that accomplish for them?
Well, I think that if that is true, it's the wrong business mentality. Absolutely. I think it's a super shitty business mentality because, I mean, that's like saying we only give a shit about this product right after it comes out and then you guys can all go fuck yourself for the next 3 years until we make something new. That is a really bad business model. If you look at what other companies have been doing, like the Blaze Blue company, and Sega, and even Capcom with their 25th anniversary tournaments. I mean, that's the way to go because the tournament players are the ones that keep your game alive after it's kind of died. And when the next game comes out, they're the ones, the Rips and Rickstahs and Jimmy Napses and all these guys of the world are the ones that are going to be like, yo, Tekken 7 is coming out. Check out this sick shit that they just announced. Elisa takes off her head. Whatever. Whatever. Like, man, when I first saw that shit, I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, fuck this. But anyway, yeah, that's what happens. We're the ones that the people that keep the game alive between games are really important, at least from what I could imagine. What do you think, Rip? You know more about the corporate side of this stuff. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't really know much about it, but I can say that the tournament players are going to be a very small percentage of their overall sales anyway. And no matter what game you release, as long as it's a semi-decent game, you're going to have a hardcore following, which is that 1% or 2% or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
So I think they don't really have to cater to us. These kind of scenes are going to exist, and, they're going to promote whatever they like anyway. So,
Yeah.
I mean, for example, Mortal Kombat 9 came out, they tried to support the tournament scene, whatever. But, the tournament players just still going to think whatever they wanted. They're going to be like, well, this game doesn't have freaking trade hits, whatever. So I think that from a company standpoint, the tournament player is, keeping them happy is one thing because that's going to be the word of mouth that goes around the most. But on the other hand, like, it's just a small part of their total sales that they're going to get.
Maybe that would have been the case, but I feel like in the last few years and in the coming years, the people like you and I and Ricky and Jimmy and anyone who has access to a stream or a camera or whatever, they're going to be more valuable people because, 7 years ago, it was like, oh, Eris made a post talking shit on TZ that 90
Right.
people saw. But now, you can just make a video and it can say something and a ton of people could watch it and it can really dramatically change the success, at least on a tournament level. So, I think it's a bigger deal than maybe it was a while ago, but I definitely think that it's going to be a bigger deal as time goes on. Maybe not for the next Tekken, but they better start caring, I think, about what people like us think. And I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm just saying
No, they definitely do.
They definitely do, absolutely. I mean, there are like 6 record functions in the practice mode. So, I mean, that is just like the most beautiful thing in the world. Yeah, I remember the look on Harada's face when I told him, dude, just please patch in a record function. I mean, I'm begging you. I begged him. I was like, please put in a record function. I'll pay for it. And they were just like, they were trying to be politically correct. And they were like, we're not going to charge for something like that. And we can't pay for something like that. But, maybe we'll think about it in the next game. And then eventually they, boom, put it in. And I was like, I can't tell you how much that means to me. It's just very important to me. And I think things like that, it's going to be more of a factor in the future. Just because of streaming, and now PS4 is supposed to, support streaming. And we can ask Jedi Rob about that on launch day if we want. Boom, easy to do. So
We can ask his kids about that.
yeah, we can ask his kids about it. They're, unbelievable. Anyway. Yeah, that's going to be a big issue, I think, in the future. So, Who knows? I don't know how much they do care. I don't know how much they will care. I'm afraid of what's going to happen in the next Tekken, personally, because I feel like the next Tekken is going to be a huge pivoting point for the series. It's going to be the next Tekken 4, only in terms of new ideas. I hope it's not received the way the last Tekken 4 was, but I think that that's what they're going to do. They're going to simplify the game. I feel like they're going to take away a ton of characters, moves, stances, options. I think it's going to be a totally different game. This may be the last Tekken as we know it. What do you guys think? What do you think, Jimmy?
Depends on how they're going to actually change it, because in my opinion, they changed it to basically as easy as Tekken could get while still being Tekken.
In
So
T4?
what was that?
Well, they changed it already?
Up until, I guess, Tekken 6. Tekken Tag 2 is definitely harder than Tekken 6, but
Fuck yeah.
for up to Tekken 6, I think they changed it to make it as easy as they could while keeping it still Tekken. So to go past that, like you said, they would have to completely revamp the game.
You think Tekken 6 is easier than Tekken 5?
Yes.
DR, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
But Tekken 5 DR had like way shorter combos and way less characters and way shorter move lists and way shorter everything. I mean, everything was easier. There was no bounds. There was no nothing. It was just like super easy. I mean, at least from what I remember, I have the memory of a shark, but I mean, from what I remember,
No rage mode.
no rage mode. I mean, it was a fucking simple, easy peasy, classic style fighting game. No funny stuff, Funny stuff started in, well, I mean, there was funny stuff in 4, but I feel like all the funny stuff came in 6. That's when all the fishy shit came out. Bounds, all these weird situations with wall combos that do hella Danny, wall carries over and over, Nina, fucking whatever, like that stuff wasn't in T5, was
Well,
it?
do you remember what was in DR? Was really, really good movement. And movement is what separates good players from bad players. So,
But bad players don't know that it's separating anything. That's the key. I
they
mean,
don't have to know Tekken 6 where it doesn't matter as much.
yeah, but that's not the point. All you're telling me is that Tekken 5 appealed to more people. So a player like Jimmy J could play it and be moving all day super fast and be loving it, and a player like Rickstah before he got good at Tekken could be like, "Oh, I'm playing this and having fun." And it's
Wait,
not,
are you talking about DR here?
yeah.
Are we? Oh god. DR
Now
was my prime,
if
baby.
you'll excuse me.
You weren't even playing DR. I won NorCal regionals one year, like when I had a good team partner, and it was in the arcades.
Oh, teams. Got it.
I'm pretty sure I have a winning record against you in that game, and I'm willing to money match you.
In DR,
Yeah, in DR.
Oh god.
I still don't know Dragon.
gonna
Yeah,
I'll
that's what I
still play.
thought. I'm not gonna play
still don't know
Dragonov. Who
Dragunov.
says I'm gonna play Dragonov? You're so
don't play
What,
fucked.
Armor King?
You know who I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play Beck, amigo. You can't do shit about Flamingo in that game. That shit's too good.
Dude, Jeremy
Homing
was so
move. You
good
don't
back
got it.
No homing, amigo. Anyway, you made me lose my tangent. What was I talking about?
How dare you question my DR ability?
Ah, yes. That's what I was talking about. So what you're saying, Jimmy, is that DR catered to more players, and the random scrubby Rickstahs, they would never even know that your movement is so good and you're
No,
enjoying
I'm
it.
saying that about Tekken 6 because it matters less.
But what I'm saying is it matters less, which is a bad thing. I mean, shouldn't it matter more in terms of appeasing to you? I mean, you can suppress players like Rickstah in that game with your movement, and then Rickstah,
Stop
he
saying my
can be
name.
playing, he can be playing against you and not know he's being suppressed. Isn't that a way to cater to multiple demographics?
Depending on how you look at it, yeah.
I mean, versus Tekken 6, where I feel like it was just a lot of stuff. And Tekken 6 is, no question, my favorite Tekken of all time. There is no question about it. But I can see its faults. I mean, even Tekken 6 was quote-unquote too hard. I think Tekken Tag 2 is literally too hard. Like, Tekken 6 players think it's too hard, which is like, damn, that's fucking crazy. Because Tekken 6 was already hard as fuck. Everyone knew it. Everyone agreed. It was like known across the land as a difficult fighting game.
Whoa. Jimmy is shaking his head. But
That's because I said
when
I
Tekken
thought
6,
DR was harder.
You think DR was harder, huh?
Well, to be good at, yeah, pretty much.
No, no, no. I'm not talking
well,
about
let's
to
talk
be
about,
good
like,
at.
lower level.
What's that, Rip?
I was saying, let's talk about like the lower level, entry level.
All levels. That's what I'm talking
game.
about. Just an umbrella over all levels of player. You know, because basically, like I said, there are steps. You have to be a new player first before you become a tournament player. So in order to pull those new guys in, the game has to have the feeling of, oh, hey, my name is Rickstah, and I just started playing, and and I want to feel good. I want to do an ultra, and I want Ryu's mouth, and then just fucking throw a fireball, and like, I want to feel good about that. I think the game needs something like that to keep the Rickstahs in the scene long enough for them to realize that there is another level of the of the game. There is a level beyond the ultras, beyond the stars and sparkles and stuff, in which I want to get better. I want to learn that movement that Jimmy J was suppressing me with. I want to figure that stuff out. I think it's like you can't just appeal to one demographic. That's not a good idea in my opinion. And I am a tournament player, and I couldn't care any fucking less about Tekken Force Mode or Tekken Bowling. I think the package that they gave us for Tekken Tag 2 is the most perfect package for a fighting game of all time. There's no fucking bullshit. Tekken Tag 2 in terms of the game, like, modes. I love that. Fucking practice mode with record
modes?
function, online mode, and arcade mode, and versus mode. That's all I want to see. I don't want to see any of that stuff. But
You, the tournament player, though.
exactly. That's
Right?
what you have to remember. If they were catering only to me, it's a bad idea. You should cater to everybody.
Right.
And I feel like Jimmy, when you say, DR was harder, I think you're only thinking of it from the perspective of a top level player. You know what I mean?
No, I do.
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, do we have a conclusion that we came to about what can be done to make the game more inviting for Rickstah?
Not really, just because, I mean, if there really was a solution, you would think they would, like, brainstorm about it by now. It's been a lot of Tekken since
They
Tekken
did. It's called
got hard.
solo mode. It was a bad idea.
Let me ask you guys this. I mean, I saw this going around a while ago. One of the big complaints about one of the suggestions people offer is that they should make backdashing easier. Like, make it safe, always just tap back, and it's a safe backdash. Like, what do you guys think about that for Tekken?
I mean, that's only a small factor of it, to me at least. What do you
It's
think,
just a
Ricky?
small aspect. I don't think it's gonna drastically change anything.
Yeah,
So
I
you
don't, I
guys
don't
think
think
it would
would
be
either.
okay then? I mean, even at a high level play, I mean, you just remove the backdash cancel even.
What do you mean remove the backdash canceling? That's what they did in
like-
T4. And
Did
it
they?
was worse.
Well, that's just by keeping everyone super close, you mean, right?
No, the backdash existed,
backdash.
but it couldn't be canceled. Like, you couldn't
I think they
cancel a
should do that.
backdash into a crouch and back into a backdash. It stopped you from doing that. So, I mean, that's the idea they had. The reasoning for it was because they didn't want the characters to run. They wanted the characters to fight, and that's a direct,
up
like,
close.
that's a direct result of Tekken Tag 1. They just went overboard. All they had to do was put walls, and they would have a solid situation. But they took away backdash. And then what ended up happening is they kept the walls and dropped the no backdash. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what needs to happen. If the game ends up having like an 8-way run or some shit and makes it just like way easy, I'm not going to be happy. Like, if you hold a direction and Jin just, like, runs in that direction and picks up, like, a baseball bat and, like, throws it and shit, I'm not going to be happy if that's what happens in Tekken, I mean,
Mortal Kombat 4?
hey, do you guys
That was
remember
sick.
that trailer they showed at E3 one year where it was, like, Lily and Jin fighting in a church and then, like, Horang came in with a motorcycle or some shit?
Motorcycle?
Yeah, like a flying motorcycle, like Lobo. I mean, what the fuck was that? I remember when that came out, we all thought that, or I don't know about we all, you guys, but whoever I was talking to about it was thinking like, is this going to be like Power Stone? Is Tekken going in that direction? I wonder if that's something that they would consider, just like totally butt fucking the game and ruining it,
Fingering it?
Yeah, super hard,
They- I mean, I think they're in a position now where they kind of have to think about changing up the system.
Yeah.
And no matter what they do, I think, the tournament players are going to be like, oh my God, what the hell? But I think that should be expected. And I think that people should be open-minded if it does happen.
Yeah, I think it doesn't even matter if people are open-minded if it does happen, because at this point, if like every top-level player in the whole fucking country boycotts the game, if the game's good enough, it's still, in terms of bringing in new players, it wouldn't even matter. I mean, like, top players, like we all agreed a minute ago, they're like a minimal, very small piece of the pie, and the Rickstahs really are who you got to look out for. So, I mean, what are you getting so pissed about? I'm just talking shit. You're the best. You're super good at Tekken. You've been good for years. You've had pubes. You know, what else can I say? You know, you beat me yesterday. That's why I'm so pissed. You know, even though I was busy shooting motherfuckers all day, you know, even though I had other things on my mind. But regardless, he did beat me. That's 2 in a row. So, impressive. You know, I don't know why you're not talking more shit. It's very odd. I feel like you're going to stab me when you see me. Like, do your shit talking with physical ramifications. Anyway, we should talk a little bit about Injustice, regardless of Jimmy J's absence in the game. That is a catastrophe, man, because, I mean, I never got to play you in Mortal Kombat, and, you know, you're not playing this game, and I pretty much at this point am never going to play you in any game other than Tekken, it seems. So, you know,
Yeah.
well,
Third
that's
Strike.
Third Strike. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, you want to play Third Strike?
I'm down. Let's make it happen.
Right.
Anyway, but in terms of Injustice, you know, Wednesday Night Fights was yesterday. I think as far as things to talk about at Wednesday Night Fights, the thing that really stands out is that I honestly can say Crazy Bone clearly made an effort to adapt. He brought new things to the table, and I feel like that was really impressive. I mean, I was really pissed. You know, my general opinion on Crazy Bone has always been that he's, in Mortal Kombat at least, is that I can beat him, but he was a real big thorn in my side. Like, he was just a very big competitor, and I always had to think about him and remember him when I was training and practicing. But in this game, this is the first time he's done that. It took him a while, but now I feel like, okay, Crazy Bone is a bracket troll, and I need to really worry about him now. So, you know, props to that guy. I like that. That's very impressive. Both of you guys... Go ahead.
He fucked your mouth.
He did. He fucked my mouth. Yeah, I'll explain what that means. So I was outside Super Arcade, and we were Ricky and I and some other people were talking about how, you know, I talked a little bit of shit about the Wednesday Night Fights players last week, and I said that, you know, basically they're not among top players. You know, they're not that good. That's what I was saying. And Ricky was like, "Oh man, they're all gonna be fucking pissed. You know, they're gonna be going after you. You know." And what I wanted to say is like, "Oh yeah, I hope they shut me up." But what came out of my mouth was, "Yeah, I hope they fuck my mouth about it." You know, so I don't. I mean, it was a Freudian slip. So Wednesday Night Fights players, if you're bent out of shape about me saying you're not that good, I hope you fuck my mouth about it. All right. I mean, that's all I gotta say about it. You know, mine and Deathstroke's. Okay. So make it happen. If you got a problem with my opinion about you, let's change that. You know, solve that. So at least for me, I mean, that was the big thing yesterday. I felt like crazy. Oh, and then Tyrant changed to Grundy, which was interesting. He seemed so depressed afterwards, though, which, I mean, that's his problem. But, you know, I felt great afterwards. I felt so good. I love playing that game. Yeah, I beat him.
Oh, you did. I remember.
I feel like he's a lot better in casuals than he is in tournaments. I mean, I don't know.
The Bronson Tran, huh?
Yeah, he kind of might be like a mini Bronson in Injustice. Because, I mean, he's solid in casuals. When we play, it's like, you know, he's solid. But then in tournaments, he struggles a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that. There was a couple of surprises. Like that guy, P-board player. That guy lost to some other guy that I don't think he was supposed to lose to. Or at least he didn't think he was supposed to lose to. Maybe it was Crazy.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But, I mean, relatively uneventful, I think, as far as Injustice goes. I mean, everyone played well. There was some Sinestros. Third place was that FR Legend. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool, Sinestro. Man, that's one thing. You know, I guess we could talk about... You know, I really don't want to talk too much about UFGT because I just feel like that tournament has so much shit about it that's, like... people talking shit and people being rude and like, I'm a rude guy. Let's face it. I have very minimal manners. But man, some of the things that some people on the internet have been saying about people like, Keats and UFGT and stuff, it just is wild. Totally uncalled for, rude, and mean. I mean, that's just how I feel about it. I'm not going to get into detail too much about it because I totally agree with the concept of, not putting more fuel on the fire. But as far as, all the things, all the hate that Keats has been getting for running a tournament on time, that's, preposterous. And as far as the time of the stream and as far as the stream schedule and all that shit, welcome to the streets. I mean, we've been doing that shit forever. NorCal had Tekken Tag on Saturday. What are you complaining about? I didn't go to NCR.
10 a.m. Saturday.
Yeah, I didn't go to NCR because Tekken was at 10 a.m. on Saturday and grand finals for Tekken were on Saturday and started on Friday. I didn't go to the tournament because of that. So you guys are complaining that you guys got your grand finals on Sunday and it was top 8, not top 4. I mean, fucking wah. I mean, that's really absurd. I mean, it's unacceptable to me. And okay, even if you think that that's something to get bent out of shape about, fair enough. This is America, and you have the right to complain. However, on my level of scumbaggery, I cannot condone that kind of hostile and rude shit talk to people. I mean, you guys are lucky that Keats is just some, dude that makes dive kick video games and not some guy who's going to fuck you up, man. That's really crazy. You say some of that stuff to some people and they're going to just see you at Evo, playa. I'll see you there. So, I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about it, like I said, but just, that's absurd. I mean, do you guys have anything to say on the topic?
Well, I mean,
No, not really.
Yeah, if I say anything, it's just going to be like extending the conversation. So,
I mean, if you, I'm not gonna suppress anything that anyone has to say. That's just what I have to say. If there is something you feel like should be added, I'm interested in what you guys have to say about that.
No, for me, I just feel like everything has already been said.
Yeah.
There's two sides to everything. I mean, Injustice was a new game that was very early in the finals day, which is what some people are upset about. I think people are also upset that the mystery games came after it. But at the same time, Keats included Injustice in the roster, I think, before the game was even released. So he supported the game from day one, basically. And, tournaments like NCR did not. So, at least you guys got the game there and got to play it on the final day.
Yeah, it's not something that... Basically, the only thing that I want to get across that's a fucking hard fact is that you're never guaranteed anything. I mean, look at NCR. I mean, NCR has always been a huge supporter of Tekken, and it just happened that way. And, of course, we were upset, but I didn't go calling fucking, what's his name, a cocksucking piece of shit, or whatever his fucking name. What's his name?
Kaneda or
Kaneda,
John Choi?
yeah,
John
Kaneda.
Choi.
I mean, I didn't go and talk all this shit personally to one
Right.
man. I mean, it's just it's something that I can't condone. That's all I have to say about that. You can't have any expectations when it comes to commentary, when it comes to any of that stuff. I mean, tournament organizers have been butt-fucking players for the last 2 decades. What else is new? It's just the way it is. You can't complain that hard. SBO Quals, that was a catastrophic tournament. A catastrophic tournament. Yeah, we talk shit, but I didn't tell that guy, hey, fuck you, man. That's absurd. The guy...
Oh, trust me, if you didn't win that tournament, you would have.
Nah, that's not true. I didn't win that tournament 2 Saturdays ago that Brian Compton through, and I have nothing bad to say about Brian Compton. I'm not saying Brian Compton go fuck yourself. He tried his best and he got too many people and the tournament ran long. I understand that, and if he throws another tournament, I'm going. I'll be there because I support my local scene and I support anyone who's trying to support my local scene. So, yeah, people fuck up tournaments. It happens. They've been doing it since the dawn of time. I mean, I don't understand. Yeah. I just had a fucking brain aneurysm.
We should just call this the devastation.
That's how I feel. That is how I feel about devastation. You know, and as infuriated as I am about not being paid for devastation, if Jedi Rob's around, I'm just gonna shake his hand and be like, "Hey, what's up, man? You know, pay me for devastation, amigo." I'm not gonna be like, you know, calling in a hit and make sure everyone fucks his mouth to death. You know, I mean, it's like, you know, it happens. Whatever the reason is, I'm sure there is some kind of logic behind it. It's just. No need. Just look at some flowers. No need to get so bent out of shape, man. I mean, the guy's trying to run a fucking tournament. It's not that big of a deal. And that, you know, after, you know, there are the thing I mentioned earlier about me talking shit about Evo banning the Marvel glitch too early. I think this whole UFGT thing that happened is just another further example of how you should not be believing shit you read on the internet. And you should not be taking one person's opinion for just fact. That is not the case. The people that came back from the same UFGT tournament that everyone's talking shit about being the worst tournament on the planet, like P-Board Playa and Osimo and Tyrant, they all were like, yeah, I had a great time. The only problem was we didn't have enough stations for casuals. Okay. I mean, that's a little gripe that could be solved, but they all enjoyed themselves. They all thought it was a great tournament, and, you know, that's the end of that. I mean, what the fuck? I don't understand. It's frustrating, and I don't have much more to say about it, I guess, but it's giving me a fucking headache. You brought up that devastation thing. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. Just give us our fucking money, man. I mean, it's really a lot less.
Only 300 for me.
How much do I get? Like 100 and something, right? 200?
You're over 100 or at least 100.
I think 150.
Yeah,
I'm only. It only owes me $50. I feel like he can give that to me at Evo.
Essentially, this is a matter of 500 bucks.
Or you can just hand me my $50 out of my 300, Rick. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, hey Rick, you owe me fucking money, dude. You know, I don't want to.
Hey Rick, you owe me money too.
Yeah, I don't want. We don't want to have to collect because Jimmy J, you're gonna end up owing him money, and we're gonna fuck you up.
I'm just here trying to run a tournament, dude. Why you gotta call me names and stuff, man? Damn.
You're a fucking cocksucker, piece of shit. Fucking, that guy was so, you motherfucking, I was like, damn, he's cutting a wrestling promo, man. What the hell, dude? That guy's pissed. Jesus H. Christ, man. That guy was super pissed at Keats. Oh, man. Anyway, I mean, that's the one thing I like. I love it when people are pissed, dude. But, man, I don't know. That was just out of hand. Too rude, even for me. As far as the gameplay at UFGT, I already said it at Wednesday Night Fights. The thing that shocked me was I was shocked that Slips beat 16-bit. I was shocked about that, and I was shocked that Slips lost to the Sinestro player, because that, in my opinion, is a pretty easy match for Deathstroke. Other than that, I was a little bit surprised that Chris G won. I don't think he's bad. I think he's really good. I think it's like you've said in the past, Rip. I think it's clear that he doesn't focus on this game. I mean, why would you when there's so many other fish to fry?
Yeah, he won 3 other tournaments anyway.
Exactly.
You know, he has more important games to play. Basically.
So clearly he's a fantastic player, without question. We all know that. But I think it was a combination of fantastic player, character that's underused and under-scouted, and really great tournament clutch. I mean, and experience. In my opinion, and I've said this before too, the big problem with the Mortal Kombat scene, and I can say this just from watching Rio or even like CD Jr. and these guys who are very, very good, I can say that their tournament nerves are not as solid as someone, let's say, like Chris G. And I think that's directly from not playing other games. And that's the last thing I want to talk about before we call people bitches. What do you guys think about this whole separation between the MK community and everyone else in terms of everything? I mean, it almost feels like even they themselves consider themselves separate from every other fighting game. And not only do I think that's a bad idea in a social, from a social standpoint, from a community standpoint, but I also think that it's extremely damaging to your skill. It's making you worse as a player. I think that's a major issue with them. What do you guys think? What do you think, Ricky?
I mean, I've always felt that people that can play more fighting games in general, just not that one, they'll always be better as a whole.
I
In
agree.
terms of playing, if since I usually only play Tekken, but if I play like Street Fighter or something like that and go back to Tekken, I feel like I can kind of apply something from these old games, the other games I played, into the new ones. I mean, Jimmy is one of the best players in like every game he plays for
I
some
agree.
reason.
I agree.
I mean, it's fucked up.
Demon! That was so sick. You know what was so funny about that demon that he did with Evil Ryu against Justin Wong? When I talked to him,
oh, yeah, that
yeah,
was so
but when I
sad.
talked to him about it, I was like, "Hey, man, that was really sick. I saw you do that. You were playing some Rufus player, right? I don't even really remember who it was. It was so sick. He fucked up Justin Wong so bad that I didn't remember it was Justin Wong. I just thought it was some Rufus player. So, I mean, that's pretty fucking impressive. And everyone knows extremely good at, Urian and Third Strike and very known for that. So, I mean, I've always been a supporter of playing multiple games, which is why I'm so pissed at you, Jimmy. What the fuck? At least play Injustice. It's so easy.
Maybe in the near future, but like after Evo.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It's-
that's something else too. That's something else too, though. I heard NorCal has no Injustice scene.
Yeah, that's true
So that's
too.
gonna-
Nobody's playing at all.
Really?
Yeah,
What happened to the MK players?
we never had any.
Wow. I wonder why. I think that maybe you're
Wasn't
too
the
far
only guy
from
that-
Mexico.
that played? The only guy that played was Michelangelo,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
That's it?
Wow.
him and like his friends, pretty much.
Well, what happened to them? They were all in the same bus and it crashed? What happened to those guys?
I guess they're just all playing in secret, and sometimes F-Champ Brian he
Uh-huh.
invites them. That's
Oh,
happened at
really?
least once.
Okay.
He's invited them to his house to
Cool.
show them how to actually play Injustice. I don't know what's the deal with that. I guess Ryan wants to focus on Marvel for now, but that's actually happened at least once, where he actually invited Michelangelo and his friends to show them how the game was supposed to be played.
Well, I think you should start playing, and I can bring you up to speed in 5 fucking seconds. I mean, it's so easy. It's so
If
easy.
anything, after Evo.
You know what? I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm really upset that you're not playing. I'm really upset that you're not playing. I'm really upset. I said it fucking 4 times. I'm upset.
No, but Jimmy has been saying this since last Evo, though. He said that once Tag 2 comes out, he's dropping every single fighting game for Tag 2.
For a year,
Oh yeah, for a
For a
year.
year.
So
just to see what would happen.
he's committed, man.
How do you
Which is
feel
crazy
about?
to me because
Go ahead.
no one's playing it. No one's playing in NorCal.
Yeah, no one's playing
How's no one
fucking
playing
Tekken. What's
Tekken
your
in
excuse
NorCal?
for that? I mean, who's playing Tekken in
I got
NorCal?
Bronson. That's good enough.
Yeah. Well,
Bronson's good enough.
yeah, it's been good enough, amigo. Come on, playa. Bronson is not good enough. Okay, if you need multiple opponents, and you need to play Injustice.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jade's pretty good, I heard.
Well, I won't have any opponents at that point with Injustice.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Well, I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, you guys really need to start a Wednesday night fights or some shit. Do you guys still do any kind of stream or anything? Like a weekly
No,
thing?
we're starting to. I mean, like we still have bi-weeklies for Tekken, and we're trying to stream those right now.
Nice.
Where at?
Right now, Joe, local TO is streaming it at CPS IV as in 4, and that's every 2 weeks. So
Is that a serial
every other
number?
Friday-
What is that? CPS I4 double V.
What?
What is that?
What do you mean? What is that?
Where is it
That's
being held?
CPSIV.
That's the Twitch channel. That's the guy's.
Oh, I thought it was a place. Like, what the fuck is that place? Anyway, go on.
It's in Milpitas Golf Land, but it's every 2
Oh,
Fridays. The next one is next Friday, so try to tune in if you want to see us play, I guess.
For sure. And what was it again? CT what?
It's in the chat.
CPSIV.
CPS IV as in like 4, CPS 4.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, I mean, I'm going to
And-
tune in for sure. What day is
Stream it
that?
again next time. What was that?
What's the day and time?
Friday.
Friday.
Friday
Next
at nighttime, I guess?
Yeah. So around like 9 p.m. I guess. Every other Friday. The next one is next Friday. So yeah.
Okay.
So does Bronson enter each one and get second every time?
He enters like he hasn't been coming recently. I guess he's just tired from work or something.
What
but
a bitch.
Sometimes.
Fat bitch. Hey, I want to, I want to talk about this This fucking dope ass tournament that they announced, the Hell Festival Master Cup J1 Climax 2013 and all that shit. I want to
That
talk
sounds
about
hot.
that. The J1 Climax, cause that shit
I'm
is
pretty
on
sure I downloaded that video a while ago.
the J1 Climax. I hear ya.
Yeah.
Hella dudes in that shit. I know.
Jimmy's room.
Yeah. Jimmy's room.
Yes, it definitely said in Jimmy's room.
Yeah, the
Yep.
Master Cup J1 Climax Hell Festival. Anyway, what I want to know is, do you guys think Japanese players are not going to come to EVO because they announced, Hell Festival Master Cup J1 Climax 2013? Because it's the day of EVO.
Oh, is it the day of Evo?
I think EVO's on 12th through the 14th, and J1 Master Cup
That would be the
Climax
same weekend.
2013 is the 14th.
Ew,
Yeah,
that's a wrap. Then.
That's a humongous tournament for Japan. I mean, does that mean we can expect no Nobi, no Yu, no Pikosu? Is that what we can expect?
Well,
I'm-
I heard they weren't going to go in the first place, so it's nothing different.
So they're not going to come to EVO no matter what.
I think that was the case. from
What's
what
the
I heard, yeah.
logic?
money.
They usually just have no money.
What about the sponsors? I heard Yu and Nobi are sponsored, and I heard Pikosu is also.
You and Nobi aren't exactly sponsored. They're recognized by Namco.
Recognized?
They're
By
Razer.
Namco.
Is that like being
Yeah.
normalized by NetherRealms? Being recognized by Namco?
It's hard to say, but they're not exactly sponsored. So yeah,
Huh.
they don't have the funds to come over here.
Well, that's a bummer. I was really hoping that we would have a Japanese and Korean kind of a clash at EVO, but I don't know. And another thing, I feel like now that tournament has been announced, it makes me want to run a tournament just so I could think of a sick name. That's such a dope name. Maybe I'll run a tournament for Tekken before EVO. Damn, that requires so much.
That's really
fucking
soon. That's in
thinking.
1
I
month.
know.
You
I
have
gotta
1
look
month
at a
for that.
calendar. I'll look at a calendar. I'll
What,
see
it's gonna be a
what's up.
SoCal only.
No, yeah, it's not gonna be like a major. It's gonna be like a
Yeah.
mini. Hopefully we could get San Diego and just run something on a Saturday. That's all I mean.
Okay.
Like run a Tekken tournament on a Saturday with a stream, just to get everyone warmed up. I think it would be a good idea. I don't know. I can't promise it because I don't know if the logistics will work out or if Super Arcade even has a free weekend to do something like that. So, I'll look at that. Is there anything else that we missed that you guys think we should talk about? I feel like we've been jumping all over the place, but are there any
There's
other?
big topics for some other weeks, I think, but
What does that mean?
we went pretty long tonight. There was a lot of other talks. I think we had Bronson on here sometime. We could talk about some stuff. So
Oh, definitely. The main reason I asked Jimmy to come on is because I knew you loved the game. I knew you were just like all over it, and I was hoping that you didn't love it so much that you don't play Injustice, but allegedly that is the case.
That's not exactly why I didn't play Injustice, but yeah.
Well, I mean, main reason I had you on is because so many people were complaining about us saying we don't like the game when that's not the case. It's just
Yeah.
like, you know how it is. I mean, the game is a fixer-upper. That's how I feel. It's just like anything else. You have complaints. There are some things that you just don't like about the game, and those are our thoughts. Regardless, I mean, we fucking run Tekken sites and do commentary weekly and enter weekly tournaments. And you guys out there that are talking shit about how we don't fucking we're helping kill Tekken. You know what? Fuck you. That's all I have to say about it. I mean, fuck you, man. That's really insulting,
man.
dude. That's really insulting. We enter tournaments every week. Do you enter tournaments every week? We do commentary every week? Do you do that every week? I fucking got all kinds of bullshit that I don't even have to think about that I have to think about every week. And you're saying, yeah, that's right. I mean, it's infuriating. It's infuriating when I hear people just talking shit about like me hurting the Tekken scene. It's like totally fucked up, So, fuck you guys. Anyone who thinks that, all four of us here do our part to support Tekken. And if you got anything to say about that, you could go fuck yourself. I guess that was my bitch calling. So, as the chat goes ahead, feel free to call anyone a bitch chat. I'm going to go ahead and start with our splendid guest, Princess Jimmy J. That's the first time I called you that today. But you got to call someone a bitch.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and call Andre Magus12334 Kane a bitch.
Oh, thank you. That's a good
Dun,
one. That's a
dun,
good one.
dun.
Go on.
And the reason why is because he I have to give it to him. In the beginning, he really did stick to Tekken. I had no faith that he would actually stick to Tekken in the beginning, and then he stuck with it for like half a year, and then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, without even telling me, he quits Tekken. Like he just stopped inviting me. We used to play like every week. He would invite me every Wednesday or so, and he just stopped inviting me.
Did you do
It's
something like
almost
take a
as
shit in
if-
his bathroom or something? It could have been
That's how
something
Eric
like
stopped
that.
getting invited.
Yeah, that's how I stopped getting invited. I have to take a shit at someone's house, and then boom, it's over. I quit Tekken. If that's what I have to deal with, I quit.
What was that?
No, I said whatever. Fuck it. Who gives a shit? Anyway, well, I mean, did he ever give you an explanation?
Well, he gave me an explanation as to why he gave up on Tekken, because he didn't really have competition, which is ironic because he quit around the same time we started those bi-weeklies, where people around his same level was actually playing.
Okay.
And he didn't really give me an explanation why he didn't really like tell me he was going to stop playing entirely. And that is why he's a bitch. Even though we've been friends for a really long time and I support him in whatever he does, I think he's a great commentator. But nonetheless, he is a bitch.
He's a great commentator. I was groaning about you going back on your bitch calling by telling him you support everything he does. What kind of a fucking bitch calling is that? What is he, your fiance? When you call someone a bitch, you can't tell them you support them. Man, fuck that. He quit Tekken. It's
Yeah, that is why
unacceptable.
he's a bitch, though.
I was really excited when he said he was taking it so seriously. You told
Yeah,
me. You told me he was like, yeah, he's really into it. He's playing. I'm like, wow, that's really sick, you know? And the funny thing is, it's not like he didn't know it was hard because he was starting in Tekken 6. I remember that. He was really into Tekken 6. So, I mean, that's unfortunate, you know? I mean, I also like the guy too. Magus and I'm a big fan of his, and he's cool. So he's a cool guy, but I agree. He's a bitch. I wish he didn't quit. I mean, especially, let's face it, okay? I don't want to, you know, piss anyone off here, but it's not like he's going back to his main game where he's going to be winning tournaments,
Yeah.
right? Let's face it. This is America. I'm an honest man. What is he dropping Tekken for, really? That's what I want to know. So, you know, maybe we could find that out. Maybe you could tell me or something. But anyway, Rip.
Well, I mean,
He's only playing Marvel.
Yeah, I understand that. And, you know, I don't know why everyone in fucking NorCal has the Jimmy J. Trans syndrome of I can only play one game. But how about we try playing multiple games? You know, you don't have to just play Marvel and Tekken, or Injustice and Tekken. I mean, I'm doing it, and I'm having a blast. Wednesdays have gotten much more fun now that Injustice has come out for me. I play both games, and I enjoy myself every Wednesday, and I do commentary for both games. I mean, what's wrong with that? Nothing in my eyes. Good times. Well, I do a fucking show every week about both games, too. What's wrong with that? Nothing. I love it. Deathstroke, Dragonoff, and Wang. But the three amigos. We all go kick it. You know? The three amigos. Anyway, Rip, who's a bitch?
Man, I got no one this week, dude. But if I have to call someone a bitch, even though I don't really have that much against them, I'm just going to call Core a bitch. Because today on Twitter, he was arguing with Wizard about how there's a hard ban now on PlayStation 3 wireless controllers for Evo, right? And so Core's all like, dude, blah, 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 like the whole road to Evo didn't have this ban, whatever. You can't just ban it now. And then...
What do you mean now? It was banned for the last 2 years. Anyway, go ahead.
Exactly. And so then he says something like, you know, we're a tight-knit community, so we can police ourselves better or something, you know? And I was letting this go for a while. I was like, all right, I have to step in here. Because then I just tweeted, like, weren't you the one who, like, got DQ'd from Evo because you hit a home button? You know? I was like, come on now. You can't be arguing for controls to have home buttons when you're the one who's hitting it on stage and getting DQ'd and getting reinstated back to the tournament. That's all.
Yeah, I spoke about this once in a podcast years ago, but no matter what you do, and this kind of involves this UFGT, you know, Chris G getting banned and stuff, that kind of stuff, I mean, getting DQ'd. No matter what you do, this is the real world. People are going to get preferential treatment, even at the highest of stages. So he's taken full advantage of that in the past. I mean, Core has unplugged controllers accidentally, and I love the guy. He is adorable. Yeah. But he's unplugged controllers. He's whined his way out of accidental home button presses, and it's happened before my eyes. So I mean, that's bullshit. It's total bullshit. Wireless controllers need to be completely banned. I 100% agree with that. And it's just preposterous that he could complain now, 3 years into the ban. I mean, it's totally preposterous. And he's directly been a part of why it should be banned. I mean, it was his fucking home button that cost the stream station with a huge screen and 1,000 people watching it to say controller setup in the middle of a hype fucking match. You know, that's no fucking bueno, Core. I agree. You're a bitch for saying that. You're a bitch for saying that. Police yourself. Anyway, you have anything else to say about that, Rip?
No, that was all.
Yeah, I can agree with that. That shit is super. Ban him. I don't even own a PS2 pad, and I play fucking Injustice on pad, and I want to ban it. I don't own one. I don't own a converter. Matrix Matt fucking stole my PS3 converter. I don't have shit, but I still want them banned. I gotta go to Radio Shack or wherever they sell that trash and go buy one. So, anyway, Rickstah, who's a bitch?
Well, Rip kind of took mine, so I'm gonna kind of go upon that though, because there's a thread on Facebook about Core made a post about how should wireless controllers be banned or not. Most of the technical community is saying it shouldn't, because we can police ourselves.
Fuck
and
that.
we can do all these stupid ideas with sync stations and taking out the battery or whatever.
There's no idea.
Yeah, so there's no idea. So everyone that supports that and is complaining about I have to play on a PS2 pad now, I have to get used to it. You all bitches. Run it black in the game. You both are bitches because you guys are complaining about having to play on a PS2 pad. Big fucking deal. Go buy one.
Yeah, I did that.
Shit.
You guys are bitches. Anyone who's go ahead.
Oh, wait, hold on. I got one more. This one's also for the game because I don't even know if this is true or not. But I heard because that Korean player that was at UFGT. Damn, I already forgot his name. He got second. He got
Stiff number 53 or whatever.
Yeah, stiff number 7.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up the game money matched him. I've heard in the first of 5, and the game was down 4-0. And then he said, "This isn't a money match."
What?
And then he never paid him.
Who said that?
And then he made the game.
Wait,
And then he made a bunch
of
of excuses.
How much money was it allegedly
Fernando
for?
said only $20.
Oh.
But Fernando said it wasn't a money match. The aces, this monitor lagged, and then the excuses just came, coming out of his mouth, and then yeah. So Fernando's also a bitch.
Yo, Ricky, I heard that was fake though. I heard Fernando was in the right on that. So.
Oh well, then who cares? He's still a bitch.
Damn. Okay. All right.
He's a bitch because someone made it up, and somehow he became that story. This is hilarious.
That's a pretty. Go ahead.
The best part is I'm gonna hella believe that no matter what, even if it is fake. It's so easy to make up lies on the internet, man. It's fucked up.
Yeah, really. Ain't that the fucking truth, man? Don't believe everything you see in here until you see it for yourself. Dime Bonics. Nobody in the chat knows what that means, but anyway, go on.
So all you assholes complaining about the PS3 pad, buy a PS2 pad and get used to it. Runnerback said yesterday that the PS2 pad is smaller. Who cares? Get used to it, stupid.
Look, if you don't like the rules, don't come to Evo. Those are the rules. They've been the rules for years, and they're the rules for a reason. This is the biggest fucking stage. It's not 8,000 people watching or 11,000. It's 100, 200, 300, a million people watching. If that shit says black screen, home screen, it's a fucking catastrophe. It's as bad as some live, news thing that people are watching and then just a home screen button. Imagine that shit. Fucking Tom Brokaw is in the middle of his weather news or whatever that guy does, and then boom, PlayStation home screen pops up. I mean, it would be a huge deal. People would get fucking fired. It's a catastrophe. So that's what they want to prevent. This is a big show, Ban them.
Yeah,
you gotta
really
do it.
big.
And there is no question about sync stations or policing ourselves. You can't even run a fucking weekly at Wednesday Night Fights without getting a home button to go off. I mean, it's just, why would you even argue it? Home buttons are bad. I mean,
Because Tekken's a tight-knit community, and
Yeah.
we can all police ourselves.
yeah, sure.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, you guys can all go fucking police yourselves, all right? I mean, that's ridiculous,
And just so you guys understand how big Evo is, I mean, Tekken is a small game, though, right? Tekken 6, my grand finals when Nin owned me like 9-0 rounds. That's got like 400,000 views on YouTube. That sucks.
400,000 views on YouTube is a shitload. A fucking
Yeah.
shitload. That's like enough money to make a check, like a paycheck. You know? For real. I mean, on views.
Yeah.
You know? Fucking 2,000.
I didn't get any of that.
Yeah, zero. You know? So, I mean, that's a lot of people watching. And that's Tekken. That quote unquote nobody
Yeah,
gives a
exactly.
shit about. That's dying or dead or whatever. So, trust me, it's a good rule. Anyone who's against it, just take our word for it from experience. It's a good rule. Just get it together. Get a pad, get a converter. I'm going to have to do it for Injustice. Just make it happen. Anyway, before we go, do you guys have anything you'd like to plug? Rip, anything going on? Of course, you have your app. By the way, before I let you plug your app, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, and let me tell you, God knows I don't like sucking on your dick. That's for fucking sure. But
Hold on, let me get
every time I want to learn a new character in Injustice, I just fucking pull my phone out and use that shit. It is a really great resource, and it didn't even exist before you put it out. God knows I think you're a bitch, but this is the heartfelt truth. When I'm learning a new character, I pull that app out and I use it. It's a great resource. So you got that going on. You got your level up your game and all that stuff. Channel, YouTube, website, and of course we all Rickstah and you and I, we do commentary at Wednesday Night Fights. Rickstah, you got your stream going on, right? Have you been streaming?
Nope, but
shit.
I might do it one day.
Cool, and that's at Ricksteezy with 3 E's. Make sure you follow him. Jimmy J, you guys got those NorCal events going on. I want to see more of that. Give us details on it.
Yep. So basically, you can follow. Well, first of all, we have the bi-weeklies, and you can follow CPS4, CPSIV on Twitch.tv. So starting next Friday, it'll be bi-weekly, and you can watch us play there. And also, we have First to 15s coming up relatively soon. We have 3 matches lined up, and that should be coming within next month, before June ends.
May I ask
So-
why you guys decided to go with 15 games?
Just for endurance. I wasn't quite sure why we did that too, but it is a really long set.
Take
But
my
endurance is part of it.
advice from experience in terms of people, what they like to watch. I think it's too long. I mean, if you're putting out a product that you want people to watch and enjoy, you should definitely make it maximum 10. But I would even consider 5. Because,
No, I agree.
yeah, I mean, and that's not just going out to you. That's going out to whoever, Steven or Bronson or whoever is trying to make this a thing. I think it's a great idea, and I think you and Bronson on commentary would be just magical. I think it would be really good. But just lower the game count. Because what you want to do is you want to get people who don't give a fuck about JC and Steve to still want to watch the whole thing. I mean, that should be the goal. And to get that to happen, you got to make it a little bit shorter. Because that shit's really fucking long.
It really is.
But anyway, I'm really looking forward to those. I'm excited to hear the commentary and watch the matches. So really cool. Check that out. Also, the stream channel is NorCal Strong Style, right?
Yes, NorCal Strong Style. You can follow that, and also, I was going to say something else.
It's okay. Don't sweat it. Don't panic.
I'm panicking.
I know that happens. Don't you hate that when you try to remember something and like your point just gets lost? It's the worst.
Yeah.
This is like watching the little girl like freeze on the national anthem, and it's like, oh, you want to just run up and help him.
Can you
Help
spell
'em.
ambulance?
In
Anyway,
any
so
case,
you don't
should follow
remember?
NorCal Strong Style at the very least on Twitch.tv.
And Jimmy J Tran on Twitter. Twitter's right there. I'm clicking it with my little mouse icon. That doesn't do anything. Anyway.
I'm sure we can all see that.
Yeah. So I got
Whoa.
it together. What? What's up?
No, sorry. Somebody just said Rio made a new tier list on Test Your Might. I'm so excited. Can't wait to find out which characters are the best.
Yeah.
Oh God, who cares?
You know, if I
Jimmy,
made a
can I ask
tier
you a
list,
question?
if I made a tier list right now, don't forget that question, Ricky. But if I made a tier list right now
Okay.
and put it out, everyone would just shit their pants. I'm not gonna
should
tell
do it.
anyone what I think, but everyone would shit their pants. Anyway,
You should hella do it
should
though.
do it.
I'm.
You should make a troll one.
No, it would
'Cause
be
I'm sure you're
totally
real-
honest. I think my tier list would be totally honest, and I think everyone would just be filling their pants with feces when they read it. So, anyway, we were gonna ask Jimmy a question. Go on.
I just want to know who are actually playing in those money matches or first to 15s or whatever, and then I want to know his favorites because I want to see if I have the same opinion.
Yeah, well, the first one. Okay, actually, I'm not sure what order they're going to be in, but one of the three is Johnny PVB True Dat True versus who was it? Patrick Naoki Sadako.
Ooh,
That's one of the matches.
That sounds like a good match.
that's on.
And another match is one I mentioned earlier, Brian K30 Filer versus JD Cindy 182.
Damn, that's a good match too.
Bad
really
bad username, but good match. Go on.
And the third one is Jeff Renzo Nguyen versus Sam Kyo Fifek. Because
I didn't know Sam still plays.
Yeah, I didn't know.
just because they both think the other person is like way worse than the other one. So it's a real grudge.
Ooh.
Okay. Real grudge match, like they don't like each other, or they're friends and they
Well,
just
not
talk
that they
shit.
don't like each other. It's just that they think the other person's just way worse than the other, respectively.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, make sure you follow all that shit for sure. It's gonna be what's going on in
We're
the
really
coming.
excited. Like this is starting to rejuvenate the NorCal scene.
Oh, I'm glad, man.
Well, you guys got to do
you
something.
guys in forever.
Yeah, really. I mean, I don't understand what the deal is because you guys have been slacking off super hard. I mean, get it together. Bronson, get your shit together, man. Quit eating whatever you're eating and do some sit-ups and run a strong style, for Christ's sake. I mean, so, you know, him tweeting those pictures of strong style really made me think about how sick that tournament was. I forgot
is.
that I Play Winner streamed it. I forgot all that shit. It was so much fun. That was awesome. That was the tournament that Filthy Rich gave me brownies while I was doing commentary. You remember that?
Wow.
Do you remember that? He was like,
I didn't know that.
hey, you want a brownie? And I was like, yeah, I'm starving. And I grabbed the whole thing and ate like this whole piece. And he's like, you ate the whole thing? And I was like, what? It was a brownie. Anyway, those were good times, man. Rain and Tongball Love. That was really sick. So, Bronson, you're a bitch. We're all calling you a bitch. Fucking run it.
Bronson.
Make it happen. Make it happen. Anyway, I guess that's pretty much